Welcome back to Anna Mondays. I'm the JJ. This is Yu Yu Hakusho Part 6, years 2001, and we'll hop right into it. Episode 28. We meet Koto, the furry that runs the tournament. Yeah, that's the description you're gonna get. That's the absolute max I'm gonna work my brain on that one. When they have lines such as, "I'll be your cute host," they know what they're doing. So yeah, basically we picked back up. We're at the tournament, stuff's happening. As I mentioned, we meet Koto, we go outside, we see Botan, we see what Keiko's up to. So as I mentioned, they're all there, everything's nice outside, and Keiko is surrounded by demons. You know, that's not dangerous at all. Surrounded by demons, and decides to mouth off, "All these ugly demons?" Botan instantly, "Keiko, watch your mouth." "Why? 'Cause it's dangerous?" Yeah, bringing you is a problem. It is very dangerous. Botan is actually a complete failure at her job. I have to bring up a weird thing. Why did Koenma and Ogre show up here at the tournament in person, but yet the rest of the series past this and before this on a screen? I mean, I know why he has to be there, because there's a scene later that he physically has to be there. It basically just promotes a Deus Ex Machina for later, where we need another person for the team. Koenma's here. It's just really forced, because like there's no reason for them to show up to this one in person, but the other ones just watch behind a screen. You have the best seat of all, and like all your servants are at your house, and they can cook for you while you watch. Why are you doing this? This is terrible decision making. So we're about to start our first match, which I'm honestly really excited for. In my opinion, this is the best tournament in anime. That doesn't mean it doesn't have a metric fuck ton of problems. I think this made me realize it. While this is one of my favorite series, when you do focus on fighting with it, it tends to be a little more on the shonen side. Kuwabara quickly volunteers to beat up Rinku, that little boy who was in the hotel with the blonde guy who cut their cup, that whole thing. Kuwabara, were you holding a grudge against a little kid, or do you just not care that he's a little kid? You seem to care if it would be a woman. What if it was a little girl? Oh god. I just love how it's like, yeah, a little boy, I kicked the shit out of that motherfucker, but a woman, yeah, I got morals. So our first match starts, Rinku versus Kuwabara. Rinku starts moving at light speed, and I just want to point out a flaw I have with this. It's not a flaw within the story itself, it's just overall. Why has moving at, like, light speed and leaving those, like, outlines, why has that become an anime staple? It's not special anymore. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, okay. It's gotten to the point where, like, someone doesn't do it, and I'm like, wow, that person's a bitch. Like, that's horrible. That's really bad. The other thing I want to mention in that, number 2, Kuwabara gets, like, kicked. It's like a whoosh. Rinku goes right by him. His foot clearly connects to his head, because you see bleeding. Bleeding is, yeah, fine. Bleeding got caused by a kick. It was a perfect cut, whatever. I'm willing to suspend the disbelief on that one. The weird thing is, where the cut is, it's right on his hair. You could argue that's supposed to be behind the hair, but I'm just saying, art-wise, it doesn't come across well done. It actually kind of seems like an art fuck-up. Which, big surprise, Studio Pierrot did this. Motherfuckers.
Give a f***. It's not about the money, it's not about the luck. We don't care, we don't give a f***. It's not about the money, it's not about the luck. We don't care.
Kuwabara cheats death again, and it's not the only time. It's gonna happen pretty frequently. Kind of like passing out in the show. This time it's having his neck broken, and yes, it should be broken. As if the kick didn't look brutal enough, what you see is like a piece of his neck. You see like the corner here, so it is snapped from that kick. He goes down, eyes are open, not moving. He is full on dead. Gets up. You think my neck's broken? Yes, we all should think your neck is your neck was broken, so yes, I do. What the fuck is happening? Well, I'm not gonna tell you. That's pretty much what happens. They do not explain how he doesn't have a broken neck, he just gets up and says, I don't have a broken neck, and that's the end of the scene. Rinku finally brings out his real weapons. Yo-yos! Togashi's great at non-weapon weapons. The fishing pole that Gon uses, yo-yos, playing cards. There's just so many little things he does that I really appreciate. Leorio with books. Knowledge will kill him. I'm really pissed about that one. Leorio does nothing later on, but that's a different review for a different time. You know, there's something in this fight that bothered me. Like, aside from the other stuff I talked about, because clearly a lot of things in these fights upcoming bother me. But, there's something specifically. Kuwabara sees those yo-yos and goes, oh, okay, well, let me counter with my new move. Dual Spirit Swords. Awesome. Fucking great. Oh my god, why didn't... Like, dude, how did it take you this long to think of that? That's awesome. Next logical evolution. And, it just dissipates. Never to be really used again. I just wish we saw it more. This scene did do one major thing for me, and it made me realize that the compensation of Kuwabara being, like, the lowest factor on their team, losing to a young boy, but, the compensation there is he always gets the best reveals. The first time he got Spirit Sword, in Genkai, that was awesome. He wasn't, wasn't in Genkai. The first Spirit Sword, the Pole Vault reveal, the dual swords in this, the, later on, spoiler alert, Time Sword stuff. All of that, his reveals are always just, yeah! Fuck yeah! Oh yeah! Kuwabara, #1, and then he's dead again. God damn it. So we end this episode on a fist hanger, with Kuwabara turned into a human kite, defying gravity. I get the idea here, it just looks really silly to me personally. But Rinku wraps the... I'm assuming it's like steel wire or something, so it can't be easily cut, but he wraps that around Kuwabara's limbs and starts basically Macy's Day parading him up into the fucking sky like a giant balloon. Episode 29, we're moving on to the next one. Shizuru didn't care for Kuwabara when his neck was broken. That's a past thing. I know I'm mentioning that late, but it's for a reason. Because we left off last episode with him suspended in the air, about to die. Does Shizuru care now? No. Oh. It's so weird to me that, like, you have that character. Well, would crying or being worried about him, would that actually do anything? Yes, it would help you release emotions that probably shouldn't be being held up. Unless you don't feel them, in which we have a whole nother fucking problem on our hands. The cold demeanor behind her can be really funny, like putting the cigarette on the demon's tongue. Keiko's just like, I'm sick of this shit! Goes to, like, yell something, a big ogre demon thing just pops up. You don't talk shit, especially when you're surrounded by hungry demons. And then all of a sudden just... What the... Wow! I'm just saying, if those two ever go to jail together, that demon is Shizuru's bitch. That's all I'm saying. Kuwabara's in the air, like I said. He's coming down. He uses a very clever pole vault with his spirit sword to launch himself at Rinku, to which Rinku responds, that's cool and nice. I'm still gonna kick the shit out of you, though. Boom, 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 boom. So they both get damage in. Yeah, that was the exact sound effect replay. It was just boom, 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 boom. Just my exact voice, just right on the clip. But a specific thing I want to mention there. Hiei has a line, neither one of them will be able to make it. Referring to Kuwabara and Rinku, of course. Legit, everything Hiei has been saying in this tournament, from standing right over there in that little spot, has been 100% grade A bullshit. Not a single thing Hiei has said has actually been true. And I mean almost, if not, every single line. Botan hops a barricade and uses her, quote, physical training on Yusuke, and by that I mean she smacks him in the face repeatedly. So you're not only bad at that job, but you're bad at your job right now. Is it because you're spreading your talent thin? No, it's just because you don't care. Oh, okay. Remind me why people love you as a character? You basically have Yusuke, who's been unconscious this whole time, continuing that from the boat, and he's just shouting these things in his sleep. You stupid cheater, Kuwabara, beat him. It is the worst fake sleep ever. You are fucking flat out awake. Not only, that's not just a theory, too. Just you wait. Wait till the line comes in a later episode. I'm proven right. This motherfucker is letting his friends die. So, we move on to the next match after Rinku manages to kind of cheat. Not really. It's not like there's rules or anything, but he counts out, ring out to Kuwabara. And move on to the next match, which is actually a really good match. It's part of the same episode, which I kind of have a problem with, where you start half and continue half. Though this fight, the second half of this episode, the second fight, is like nothing. We set up the next fight, which is Kurama versus Ren from Ren and Stimpy. I'm not really fucking with you there. That's really his voice. Oh, Kurama, if you don't let me beat you up, I'm gonna have my brother destroy your mother. Yeah. Not even fucking with you. Stinky Wizzledeets. I'm not, like, no jokes. Actually sounds like it. During their fight, it looks like Kurama's better. It kind of sways momentum-wise because, well, Shuichi, I have your mother, like I said, that whole thing. So he tries to really bribe his way in. At one point, Kurama flicks a rock at his forehead, and you get one of the best line deliveries ever from the Ren character, and it's just flat out, "Oh, honestly, who throws a rock?" Oh, honestly, it's just the way he says it. It's so Austin Powers. Honestly, who throws a shoe, man? We get a line from the Team Rokuyukai owner. "Don't fool around. Money's on the line." Nice, Togashi. Gotta get those messages towards fucking Rich in there. Don't worry about the lies, guy. Worry about the money. I got it. I got you. I got your message here. At the end of the fight, that rock really mattered. I think that's really fun, clever writing. That rock mattered because it was a distraction to sow the Devil Seed plant into him. I believe it's called the Devil Seed plant. And it basically causes him to be immobile, to which Kurama responds, "Yeah, that's a great way to rely on fights. You know, if I decided to make you immobile, or if I just didn't give a fuck, you know, you'd be shit out of it." That's pretty much exactly what happens. And you get one of my favorite lines in the series, because we don't know Kurama that well at this point. We think he's a pretty upstanding citizen. He's done nothing but nice things. Well, to the team. Not to the team's enemies, but to the team. So the one moment where it's just, "Oh, Kurama, I was never going to hit the button. You show mercy, right?" No. And then just turns around, walks away, and you see death in the form of flowers blooming from this guy's body. And it's just juxtaposition, awesome character development. This one little, like, snippet of a scene does so much. Right now, we're tied 1-1. One for Kurama, one for Rinku. And I like that they had Kuwabara lose, because now we have an actual, like, shit, what's gonna happen moment. You have the one-on-one. We're doing this right. And it's not always going to be one-on-one, because another clever thing about this tournament is it's not always one-on-one fights. You get to decide beforehand. Team Rokuyukai and Urameshi both said, "Hey, fuck it, let's just do one-on-ones." Later on, we get 3-on-3s, we get tag teams, you can get pretty much what everybody fights at once, Battle Royale, whatever the fuck you want. Apparently Knife Edge Deathmatch, episode 30. We pick up on Zero, the guy who cut the cup, the blonde who's supposedly the team leader. Not owner, the leader of Rokuyukai. He's going up against TA, and we have one of the funniest... If you've watched X-Men, or if you've watched any reviews about X-Men, the animated series from the 90s, there's this one, like, almost famous line of just... Nyat! Of Cyclops, and he just does the laser beam anyway. He does literally a classic 90s knot. This is the equivalent. Hiei's line is wonderful. Just, Seiru says something stupid, and then Hiei's response is just, "Actually, I'm bored." To which it cuts right back to Seiru, and he just goes, "Actually, you're dead." And they actually, like, for just a split second too long, keep his face on the screen, so it is kind of like that, where it's like, "You're dead! Shut up!" And then they continue the fight. It's basically that scene. So Hiei pulls out easily one of the top 10 moves in anime, and you have to say it the right way. It will never be known as Dragon of the Darkness Flames. It forever will be known as Dragon of the Darkness Flame! Have no idea why Chuck Huber decided to do that kind of delivery with it, but it works so well, so badass. And then they do the freeze frame with the characters at the bottom. In visual effects, that darkness, that blackness just surrounding and weaving around, almost like you summoned a Dragon Ball. I'm not going to say Black Star, because I don't want to fucking remember those. But you have that, the voice acting behind it is spaced so cleverly, and I never would have thought to deliver that way. And it all culminates in, as I've mentioned, one of the best moves, if not cool moments in anime, because motherfucker had to give his arm up to use it. Pretty much, Hiei turns him into a stain on the wall, and I'm not making a joke. He literally, like he's singed to the wall. There's no pile, there's nothing. There's a black outline of Zero, and that is it. The two other people on the team, Hippie Dude and I Don't Give a Fuck, just run. They see this. I'm not dealing with this shit. They run away into this dark corridor, to which you hear... Again, spot-on sound effects from me. I should get a fucking job in that. Yeah, and then Chu, the character I mentioned a little bit earlier with a purple mohawk, this guy, right now he's a stranger. He walks out carrying them as if they are dead bodies. Plops them on the ground as if they are dead bodies. Gets in the ring as if they're not there anymore because they are now dead bodies. Picks up a mic, as did I mention they were dead bodies? And then says the line, those two over there died. Accidentally. Does that mean I get to do it? He's fucking drunk. And this almost seems like a drunkard just stumbling in, so it's a really fun scene. And then when you see him get serious, Chu as a character, it's just, ooh. But there's a line said by Rinku here that kind of bothers me before we skip over it. There's a line said by Rinku that's just, you're here? We played rock, paper, what the fuck, mother? You know I was here. If you're talking about right here in the arena, yes! Because I'm allowed to be here! He's drunk in the ring, he's drinking, stealing people's drinks from the crowds. Fucking being the man. Honestly, if you can't tell, Chu is my personal favorite character from this, and I know that's really weird. He is such a minor one-off character. He does come back later for nothing, but still! But yeah, he's trying to challenge and egg this team on. Which one of you are going to do it? Is it going to be Kurama? It should be Kurama. I thought this instantly. Kuwabara got his shit wrecked. Hiei lost an arm. Masked Fighter's an asshole and refuses to say a word or even do anything, which, by the way, that's a problem. Thanks for the useless teammate, Urameshi. But whatever. You have all that going on, to which Kurama, you got sliced a couple times on your face. Sucks. Sucks. But I think you're the easily the least damaged. Go fuck him up. No, we get Yusuke waking up, or as I should say, disappearing and just being automatically in the ring, which is awesome. Don't know how he did that with everyone watching. Whatever. Fucking Yusuke, become a magician. So he gets in the ring, challenges Chu, goes, okay, you're the one I'm fighting? I need a good warm-up. Before the actual fight starts, Yusuke has a line that weirds me out and proves me right. I've been trying to sleep through your trash talk all evening. So you admit you were awake then? Nobody wants to get on his case for that. We're just gonna let him get away with potentially murder. Kuwabara almost died. We end on Chu stealing an audience member's drink and looking deceptively sober and ready to fight, which I really like. There's that moment of just, yeah, I'm having fun the whole time, yeah. You won't like me. And then it's just that one snap. You see it in his eyes, and it's just, okay, I'm ready for this. This is how you build a fight. This is awesome. And the comedy beforehand, while maybe one or two jokes throughout this entire mini arc with Chu, these 2 episodes, maybe 1 or 2 jokes won't hit. The rest of them, I personally love. He's just that, and some of them are supposed to not hit on purpose, because he's only funny to himself. He's a weird, stumbling, drunk guy, and in fact, Rinku finds him embarrassing, so it kind of adds to the whole, Who on episode 31? At the start of the fight, Chu drunk stumbles around, hits like the classic DBZ, 5 punches, but it only appears to be a 1 punch, that whole thing. You actually see a line where in this fight Yusuke says something and you realize this is the point of him snapping and becoming like full on, just, yep, he's no longer a human. he's enjoying this way too much. The line actually flat out is, so let me get this straight, 1 wrong move and I'm dead. Yeah, it's right, kid. Well, this whole life or death thing. Starting to really like this. So you have him getting prepped, and it's just, that line is just, whoa, Yusuke. Okay, you're becoming something I don't know if I like. Especially since they admitted flat out later, they're all only here, and I mean all, including Masked Fighter. Spoiler alert! Oh, it's totally not Genkai. They're all here just to basically get back at Toguro. Chu's drinking this flask, to which they say it's this alcohol called Ogre Killer. Awesome name, and if you're not marketing that, Japan, like as an actual, like, small flask of really powerful alcohol, you have done goofed. You have done fucked up. Market it now, because idiots like me will pay out the ass for it. Chu's aura after he drinks that drink is this weird purple. His skin starts almost looking a different color, heating up. Now, that could be one of 2 things. I'm going to go through both of them. That could be, oh, his energy is being pent up, and then when he releases the ball and he goes back to normal, that makes sense. You could argue that. Don't know if that's what it was, because, again, the studio that did this was Pierrot. That's your other option. Option 1 was clever, talented, and smart, and option 2 was Pierrot. I have this moment of just surprise. It's like this weird comedy moment. I fell on the floor, ogre. And then fucking Koenma just Get off the floor. Surprise time is over. You see, I'm so fucking done with these. I don't care. From now on, instead of, like, actually giving you examples, I'm just gonna flat out say, fuck Koenma. Anytime you see me say, hey, fuck Koenma, that's what that means. That means we got a really obnoxious scene just barging in of comedy that doesn't make sense, and I don't even care to fucking structure sentences properly right now. That's how little fucks I give about this forced comedy between them. So Rinku says a line like, oh, yeah, if you don't beat him quickly, Urameshi, you're gonna lose because he's invincible. Exposition, yeah! Why did we just give an exposition speech containing, like, legitimate sensitive information about Chu's weaknesses? Like, if we don't beat him now, we're fucked. That's helpful to me. Why are you saying that? You're a fucking idiot. And two, that's not true. Again, bullshit conjecture the arc. If you are standing around that ring and you have an idea and you're actually talented, you can know what you're talking about, you're wrong. You'll be wrong. So, we see how Rinku and Chu met, which is one of my favorite stories. Rinku is getting bullied, almost basically beaten, potentially beaten to death. And Chu comes in and, hey, y'all having a party, yeah. Sorry for any Australians out there. I am no Kent Williams. The backstory, though, brings me to my point. Rinku is tied to him. Siru, who, by the way, Chu reveals he is the actual leader, not Siru, the guy before. To which brings me to my other point. Siru was an asshole. When he goes into his normal stage, you see that, like everything we saw prior, the calmness was all facade. He was an asshole. In fact, he didn't even look that way. He has a different look in everything. So, this is the point I want to bring up. Kuwabara's fighting Rinku. Kuwabara's about to hit Rinku. Siru goes, no, Rinku, get out of the way! One and only time we see Siru care. So he legitimately cares for Rinku. Chu legitimately cares for Rinku. Why is Rinku not the leader? Rinku would bring all these people together. There's a line in here that makes me want to punch myself so hard, my face will wind up on the background. You can probably see the alcohol mixing with his energy if you look close enough. I'm just gonna hope this is conjecture and bullshit like everything else has been, because that line is so fucking inherently stupid. So, Chu, using the Ogre Killer, is building up this big energy ball. And he says a line, no bullet will make it through that train. Said by him. So then why do two spirit guns, two bullets, why do they make it through? My main point is I don't think, A, it was pointless, and B, I don't think it would actually puncture through just because there's a little more force behind it. That just doesn't make sense to me. It's just not able to break through. And again, if all of that is not true and it's just simple bullshit conjecture, that just adds to my point of simple bullshit conjecture. On Chu's point, no one will make it through that. You're wrong, like everyone else. So we'll pick up on episode 32, which is actually the last episode we're going to be doing. Kuwabara hears Knife Edge Deathmatch, they see them setting it up, and he goes, huh, I've never heard of that before. Knife Edge Deathmatch, huh? I guess if I had to guess, it would involve them fighting to death over knives. Thanks for the pointless exposition scene, Kuwabara. You know, if you didn't know what a Knife Edge Deathmatch was, just like them fighting with knives, if you couldn't surmise that much from the name Knife Edge Deathmatch, then you are as wrong as everyone else in this series standing around the ring. So the Knife Edge Deathmatch starts, and the intensity in this is amazing. And by start, I don't mean like the actual match begins. What I mean is they both put knives in the ground and they start explaining the rules. And you take off your shoes, you put one of your heels against the blade of the knife very gently, and if you move back at all from the punch or to dodge, or if you try to step out, Knife Edge Deathmatch. The tension is fucking amazing. And the line that they said, too, was really awesome. The edge of the knife is like the edge of their world. I really love that. And you're waiting on the actual decision board to yes or veto the idea of this happening. So they're just standing there. You hear the crowd going nuts. You just feel that electricity, to steal JR's lines. You feel like we're about to get a slobber knocker. You feel like we're about to fucking actually see something good. Because those other fights, they were fine, but they weren't this. In fact, I think this is so well done that they decided to go, hey, let's keep this forever in our ending. Because, yeah, again, Chu and Yusuke are fighting. He really only appears in this arc and one small bit of one later. fuck yeah, I can't wait for them to leave their entire heart in the ring. Do it! And then it gets repealed. What the fuck? Hey! Okay, come on, why? As soon as that circle hits the screen of them repealing their decision and just basically saying, oh, the crowd's really pissed and they're not going to start fighting until we say yes, so they pretty much hijack the show. No consequences to that later. Fine, fuck it, do it. Put up a circle, let them fight, start. Which I like, because you also have the setup of, let's be honest here, Sakio came in and fucking Sakio'd his way in. We finally break that silence, that tension, and just go in, guns a-blazing, heads first. And wow, is it worth it. That like 2 to 3, maybe even 5 minutes of just pure silence and waiting. Not necessarily silence, there's speech and stuff, but it's just dead. And then boom, all the energy that they have left comes out. While this is happening, we meet Karasu, who's someone on Togaru's team. Which, by the way, that whole team, Togaru's team, is actually a very fun, and this made me realize it, it's a very fun, sort of more developed than normal villain team. I kind of like it. Karasu has a really great backstory. Bui is an awesome, interesting character. Togaru brothers are, well, the main villains. Most of that team is just very interesting, and they wind up being more than you think they will. Keiko winds up having a tantrum and running away. Shizuru goes and follows her, tries to save her. This scene is just fucking painful. This is what I mean by slowing the plot. Keiko, no! I have to introduce Sakio and Shizuru, so I'm gonna be a fucking MacGuffin and run away for no reason. And once again, I want to point out, she ran to her death for all we know. I mean, she balls on the kid, but she just ran for no fucking reason into hallways full of demons that eat humans, and you're alone. You know, there's this thing called thinking about your actions before you do them. Shizuru basically follows the plot, literally, and by that I mean Keiko running away. And Shizuru almost dies, but Smoker Ex Machina! Also, it is an interesting setup for their relationship later, which we'll get to. Awesome manly montage of them punching and smiling each other to the dun 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 dun. And you get like a speech from Kuwabara, because Keiko runs in and stop them, Yusuke's gonna die. I can't do that. Don't you know we're Japanese? So Rinku has a line of, choose trademark headbutt, no one can stand up to that. You just said trademark headbutt, first of all. Second of all, just, it's not a thing, Rinku. Fucking stop it. And again, another point, bullshit conjecture. He stands up to the headbutt. Chu mans up and tells Yusuke to kill him like they promised. They were going to fight to the death. And again, this is the best fucking side character. And Yusuke gets a beautiful and impassioned snap to the crowd as they're all booing because he refuses to end it that way. Just, nah, come and fight me when you're better. So, rip cracker. You have that moment of fucking joy on Chu's face. It's just, I like this kid. Then it goes back to Yusuke, and you hear the crowd again booing, to which Yusuke responds, very Shakespearean, shut up! If any of you have a problem with me, you say it to my face, or else you say it to my fist. If you replace fists with sword, I swear to God, that's a fucking Shakespeare line. It also is an amazing scene because it just shuts up every demon. You could argue it's Yusuke's actual arrival to this tournament of just, oh, this isn't just a human, oh boy, okay, let's not fuck with this kid. And then we have an amazing shot to end this episode, and actually this review too. We have an amazing shot of just Togaru watching from the stands right outside that entrance, like where the stairs would be, and you have Yusuke in the ring. He's just looking up at Togaru, and it's just, when I'm done with this, you. And you have Togaru, who's just above him, literally. They even do that whole anime, oh, wisp into the shadow thing. And if you don't know what I mean by that, it's my character has an outline normally. For this, it would just literally be like a very sketched thing, and it's only the first half of my body, and then the rest just blends in with color. You know what I mean? It's almost like a weird watercolor. Like and subscribe, comment below. Let's talk about some of Yu Yu Hakusho or some other anime. Suggest some things. Let's have some conversations here. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Check the arrow below, see what we're doing next week. It'll probably be part 7 of this. And, that's pretty much it. I've been the JJ, and I've been pretty much pointless, and we'll see you next week.